All right, we're live. Hey, good morning. This is Greg Valori, aka Social Greg, on Twitter for the Nerdstalker Media Network. I'm pleased to talk with Sarah Ryan now, who's organizing this interesting issue I came across on Facebook on my feed. It wasn't directed towards me. It was just happened to be a good friend who's a creative person or a wannabe creative person. He's going to school at the Academy of Art University here in San Francisco, and it said that CS6 licenses were being canceled, and I started digging into it, and I was just amazed about what I was seeing. And all right, we're live. Hey, good morning. This is Greg. You might have to put your earphone on or something like that. It's coming back on you.
Oh, hold on one second here.
Yeah, or cancel it out.
I'm so sorry, Greg. I'm not.
Don't worry.
You want me to get some headphones? Is that what you're saying?
Or you could just cancel that window. You're watching it actually in another window, I think.
Okay.
And it's on delay.
There we go. I'm
Yeah,
so sorry about that. I need tech support.
No worry, no worry. So, yeah. Anyway, I was interested in this story because I normally don't write about these things actually, and I think that it perked my interest because I was a former product manager of a fairly large corporation that actually put agreements together. So anyway, good morning, Sarah, and thanks for joining us here.
Thank you so much for bringing kind of the first media attention to our issue, because after you, we had all these calls coming in from major news organizations, and I really appreciate you bringing it up. It was awesome.
Well, I'm glad that someone pays attention to us nerd stalkers here. So I am. But
it's the best name, Nerd Stalker. I'm in love.
Yeah, well, good. And I think let's get into this and let's talk about this, because I think that people out there kind of want to understand this situation. So can you kind of do a timeline for us? What led us up to this grievance?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically on September 3rd, my CS6, I sat down to work like everybody else, and my CS6 reverted to trial mode. And I thought, oh boy, there's a bug, whatever. So I contacted Adobe, and they told me that my license had expired. And, we went through a great long chat about how that couldn't possibly be true. Ended up talking to some other friends. It had happened to them 2 months ago. And I started kind of putting the pieces together until I realized that this had been happening in a wave to thousands of other people, and nobody was talking about it yet. So here we are today, lots of followers, trying to figure out a solution for everybody.
Yeah, I think, digging into this, when I was looking into it, there was some things this couple points that hit me, just to highlight, and maybe you could comment about this. One, Adobe didn't seem to see what was going on between AAU and them, especially probably at the customer service line. They won't know. And then AAU side, I saw that there was just a lot of confusion when I saw a lot of the chats going on you, some of the information you posted.
Yeah.
I think no one. It was kind of, I call it, when someone emailed me last night to get my opinion about it, I said it was also a PR debacle. The students were left in the middle, right?
Yeah, it's very clear that AAU and Adobe are working together in some capacity. So I think, given the fact that AAU profits from their relationship with Adobe, they don't want to speak badly about Adobe's actions, yet through email they'll tell me this is all Adobe's fault and we're so sorry that this happened to you. But in a public setting, not a word. And as far as Adobe is concerned, they're telling everybody the same party line that we can only contact AAU and they have no information. So it's literally, pointing at each other in the middle. So what are people supposed to do?
Well, it was interesting. Can you also talk about what you believe was the licensing agreement between you and AAU and the Adobe CS6? Because I think there was some question there in my mind, who owned the license?
Yeah, and honestly, no one's been able to give me a clear answer on that, and it's something that we need answered. Somebody needs to produce this document and let us know where we stand and who we should be focusing our attention on. I don't want to unnecessarily badmouth AAU. I don't unnecessarily want to do that to anybody, but we do need to know who made this decision and how we're going to rectify it. I think that they've been telling people that they have different types of licenses. So some people were told that there was a term license. Some were told it was an enterprise. Some were told, so we don't have concrete information at all.
Right, right, and it sounds like, I mean, it sure looks from my perspective when I read through everything that it points to the license don't belong to you, because otherwise why would they have been able to pull them all?
Right.
Right? But no one could actually say that to you, right?
Right, but I also thought it was interesting that yesterday they started canceling all of the faculty licenses as well. So aren't those professional licenses? Those people are not students. They are professionals working in our field. So now there's a whole group of teachers who I absolutely would never name, but they're in contact with me and joining this kind of movement forward because they're miserable. They're paid lousy, and now they don't even have things to work with as freelancers. It's horrible.
Yeah, and I think it's no secret out there. The product strategy for Adobe moving forward is to move everyone to the Creative Cloud, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Did you see yesterday? I posted a photo. I was standing out front waiting to do that interview with KTVU, and there's literally an entire San Francisco city block of Creative Cloud advertisements and AAU's collaboration with them on students' behalf. And
yeah, was that on the were they on AAU buildings, or were they on like muni bus stops and stuff like that?
No, it was an entire block of 79 New Montgomery of the Academy of Art saying Creative Cloud and Adobe collaborate together on behalf of the students, and I had a little sick in the back of my throat. It was
so
really offensive.
Let's fast forward to the grievance. When was the actual grievance filed with AAU on this matter?
I first contacted them over 2 weeks ago, and finally, after we gathered enough people and they saw us as an organized group, finally yesterday they assigned kind of a handler to me who I'm going to be speaking with directly, but I submitted the formal paperwork yesterday for that.
Well, that's interesting. So I guess it's the equivalent in a corporation I call of an ombudsman or something like that. One that kind of is this third party that kind of acts on these kind of grievances between the students and the
exactly. And I met with a student rep yesterday, and I didn't understand that there was a process for that as well. The student reps meet with faculty like once a month. First I've ever heard of it. So thank you to Carlos for talking to me about it. But they haven't been told anything either. So, I mean, it is like you were saying before, it's a PR nightmare for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it doesn't make Adobe look good, and in a way, it's really between AAU and you guys, in my mind, because they're the ones who pulled the licenses, from what I could tell.
Well, I don't know, because then AAU tells us that they didn't know this was coming, that it was a total surprise to them, and they felt really bad. And I was like, how can you not know that at least 15,000 people are going to be affected on a given day? That doesn't seem like honesty to me, to say it nicely.
Yeah, so you're estimating about probably 15 to 20,000 people maybe could be affected.
At least. I mean, I actually think it could be much higher than that.
Wow.
And I'm curious if it's happening at other universities, because what we do know is there was a series of press releases about a month and a half, 2 months ago from Adobe talking about these 12 universities that they had partnered with to move into cloud. So are we the first one, or is this already, elsewhere but less organized? I don't know.
Well, being the Silicon Valley SF tech mecca we are, it makes a lot of sense for Adobe to actually partner with AAU, actually.
Yeah.
If it were me, I was the product marketing person, I would do that. So, and your ads are maybe a small confirmation of that. So, what are the steps moving forward? I mean, to get this. I mean, you have this grievance process, but it sounds like do you understand, like, what are the steps moving forward? Like, it's going to take 6 months, 2 months, 1 month?
You know what? And this is honestly where I wish that I could say, next week, because the fact of the matter is I'm hearing from people, and their day-to-day ability to earn a living is being affected, and to me that's like morally horrendous, right? It's just it's a real day-to-day nightmare for a lot of people, and what I'm thinking is this is going to be months protracted, and it kind of can't be, right? I mean, for the survival of the individual. But AAU is saying that they have a committee that will meet, there will be a vote, there will be a review of facts. Adobe is saying they will do absolutely nothing. They actually gave me, and from what I can tell, about maybe a dozen other people, an extension on our licenses because we made such a stink. Why can't they do that for everybody? Why am I any different? I actually asked them if I could give my license number to someone else who needs it more than I do. And I don't say that to make myself look great. It was more of like, I literally can wait a couple weeks. This person can't. Whatever. Can I give it to her? And they said no. They said I couldn't even transfer it to somebody else in that way, even though I hadn't used it.
Wow.
So there's just no concept of how affecting this is for like people who are just trying to start a life, fresh out of school, riddled with debt. It's not a sort of really stable demographic, you know? So people need to think about that.
Well, you know, the friend that actually, I won't name him, but that actually put it on my Facebook timeline, which was, I think he shared another post of another one that linked back to your web page, your Facebook page.
Okay.
I actually talked to him, was it Thursday night about this, and he said he actually wasn't affected directly because he had CS5.
Yeah.
And so this is purely sounds like a CS6 issue.
Well, it is. If you have 5.5, no expiration. If you have 6, see you later. I mean, there's no rhyme and reason.
And you know, you could see in the you could see that this product planning for Adobe was planned out, right? Because CS5 had none, and CS6, okay, you know, we're gonna go to the cloud in another year. That's on our product roadmap, so we're gonna have to figure out how to transition all the people from CS6 over, you know.
Yeah, and the weird thing is that you know, the licenses as they're being expired, none of them are on like kind of a normal date range. Like mine lasted 1 year, 9 months, and 6 days. Somebody else that lasted 2 years, 3 months, and 14. You know what I mean? 14 days. So they can't even say that like we had term agreements because it's all so arbitrary. I mean, clearly, the only time frame that this correlates to is moving to the cloud. That's it.
So you file this grievance, and now are there any other steps you could take to actually accelerate this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm reaching out. There's 3 lawyers that I'm talking to right now to see who might be a good fit for like a class action if we need to. I don't think that your average person has months to wait, and so I want to get some legal advice if there's a way we could apply more pressure to just correct this. You know, it's such an easy fix. They give us perpetual licenses and people get on with their lives, you know? That's it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, in terms of the PR, on the PR cost side, I mean, if I was a big corporation, that would probably be fairly cheaper in a way. So
yeah, I don't know. I don't really care about like the image of anybody. I just want my community to be able to work, to do what they went and got an education for, and support themselves and make art. Art's cool. We all like art. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's unfortunate because the students who need it for classes, they're the ones who are suffering right now, right? I mean, they're the direct sufferers, right? I mean, then
yes, they are absolutely.
And there's people like you who are alumni who now graduated but are now starting their careers, and they need it too, right? Yeah. So okay, well, you know, let's close off the interview because I think we kind of got the idea what's going on here. But you know, how do people reach you and get onto this platform that you're raising awareness for?
Absolutely. I mean, the best way right now is the Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Adobe Steals. Really subtle title there. So anyway, we've got that, and I'm going to be putting together a petition this morning, and I want to get that sent around for people who don't have Facebook. Yeah, it's gotten really big really fast, and I kind of need to figure out a way to make it even bigger right now. Because we have power. When we have all of us organizing together, one voice, like, we actually have a chance, and without it, we don't. So thank you to everybody who has passed this around. I'm so grateful.
No, thank you, Sarah. I appreciate your time, and I know you're also balancing not only a career but a family, so I appreciate that as well. So anyway, yeah. So anyway, thank you for joining us. That was Sarah Ryan, the organizer and you know, kind of spokesperson of this grievance against Academy of Art University on the CS6 license cancellation, which is affecting thousands of students out there. So anyway, thanks for joining us. This is Greg Laurie, aka Social Greg on Twitter for the Nerd Stalker Media Network, where we believe in tech, startups, design, and you. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and be careful out there. Thanks, Sarah, again. I appreciate it.
All right, right on. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Greg.
stay
Bye.
online, and then I'll cancel the broadcast.
Sounds good.